Now look, there is no doubt about it that Deadpool and Wolverine is the biggest success when it comes down to Marvel Studios for 2024, marking $1.3 billion worldwide at the box office. And a lot of this, by the way, we have to give credit to Ryan Reynolds for, because he is the one that took a stand against the Disney executives and got director Shawn Levy by his side, as well as Hugh Jackman, to really say it's our way or the highway to the Disney executives, and they caved to those demands. This is Mike Zero. Subscribe if you're new and like this video to see future updates. You can also follow me at Mike01. I thank you also very much for the great and kind support. So tensions are rising yet again at Marvel Studios between Ryan Reynolds, Tatiana Maslany, Kevin Feige, the Marvel boss, by the way, the overall guy running the show of the MCU. But what's interesting more has a lot to do with the fact of what Bob Iger is going through right now, how he is in the hot seat for the current status of Marvel Studios. They didn't have a good week so far, by the way, after failed test screenings for Captain America 4 took place. We'll have a lot more to talk about that later in the week. But what's interesting here has a lot to do with Ryan Reynolds and what he recently did toward Tatiana Maslany, also known as the actress who plays She-Hulk in the Disney Plus series. Now, this is where things begin to unravel, because we already know that Deadpool and Wolverine, believe it or not, there's a lot of those out there that follow the Disney ideology that are not happy with the direction of that film, you know, detaching itself from the typical Disney messaging, the typical Disney agenda, if you will, and some of those Disney talking heads are not happy about it at all. But what's interesting about this has a lot more to do with what Ryan Reynolds recently did, like I said before, toward Tatiana. Now, given that the Disney company is now preparing to make substantial statements about their financial status with each division in a short number of weeks, one major development going on currently has more to do with Ryan Reynolds and what he recently did toward Tatiana Maslany, as more Marvel drama begins to heat up behind the scenes. Now, it turns out that while Deadpool and Wolverine was in post-production and after She-Hulk scenes were officially deleted from the final cut, Kevin Feige did have plans to bring back She-Hulk in Deadpool 4, or a Deadpool and Wolverine sequel/2, if you will, that was pressured on Ryan Reynolds. It turns out this was all Kevin Feige's doing, and he was pushing for the return of She-Hulk to be a fourth wall breaker, or a fourth wall breaking partner in Deadpool 4. However, now that the fourth film is moving forward officially and conversations are now serious after the box office success of the last one, Ryan Reynolds recently made a quick ultimatum that he is unwilling to participate in the fourth Deadpool film if Tatiana Maslany is part of the cast as She-Hulk and doesn't want her involved in the plot at all. Now, this reportedly upset Kevin Feige and created some tensions behind the scenes at Marvel Studios. However, Bob Iger and the board just recently caved to Ryan Reynolds' demands to withdraw from using She-Hulk in the fourth film, as Disney desperately wants to make money on another Deadpool movie. Now, with She-Hulk now officially out of the upcoming sequel of the Marvel hit feature, Tatiana Maslany is already slamming Ryan Reynolds behind the scenes, as he is aimed to become an executive producer for Deadpool and Wolverine 2, and will be able to make money, of course, and many, of course, creative choices as well, across the board. Now, Tatiana already labeled Ryan as this decision being driven by sexism and misogyny, when in reality this ultimate call was made to avoid any sort of backlash from Marvel fans, as She-Hulk as a series was a major flop at Disney Plus just a couple years ago. These tensions also created a divide between Ryan and Kevin Feige, where Feige is reportedly frustrated that Disney caved to Ryan's demands to not include She-Hulk in Deadpool 4. Now, they are already eyeing a 2027 release date window to drop this film and are planning to make an official announcement sometime by 2025 in the first quarter. Now, guys, before I move forward, let me just say one thing about this. Now, this is why I say that Ryan Reynolds is a good negotiator. He is an actor that stands up for what's right. He stands up for common sense when it comes down to Marvel fans specifically. And he knows where the market is. He knows that the movie's going to only work if it is catered to being driven by pure entertainment and not an ideology, and not having characters that are badly written or have a terrible track record. He doesn't want She-Hulk in a movie like that. He doesn't want Tatiana involved, especially after all the drama that took place within Deadpool and Wolverine and all the reshoots that took place before the movie was finished. So this is what really interests me the most, is the fact that Disney keeps on trying to see what they can get away with when it comes down to Ryan Reynolds, and when they realize that he is unwilling to participate in some of these projects, if Disney pushes what they are trying to do, then they are going to be put in that position where they cave, where they actually, you know, bow down to Ryan Reynolds and say, hey, alright, let's do what you want to do. That's basically what it boils down to. So what's interesting about this is the fact that you have Ryan Reynolds now taking action against Tatiana Maslany for a fourth Deadpool movie. Technically not a fourth film, since they keep saying that Deadpool and Wolverine is not the third movie, but you could look at it as a Deadpool and Wolverine sequel, if you will. That's basically how it's going to be branded, as a Deadpool and Wolverine 2, so to speak, with new characters coming to light. And familiar faces as well, by the way. Now, this is where things begin to get interesting, is that Tatiana was already booted from multiple Marvel projects and fired from many films after her behavior behind the scenes and the performance of She-Hulk. Even Hugh Jackman is standing by Ryan's decision to stand his ground, even if it creates tensions with Kevin Feige. As of now, Disney will not be bringing back She-Hulk, who was planned by Kevin to have a supporting role in the fourth film as a fourth wall breaker partner with Wade Wilson. This was the general outline by Kevin Feige that Ryan instantly shot down, as they are already creating new notes on what the new film will be centered on. Now, be very well aware, there's no script just yet, they're just creating notes right now. Ryan is pressuring to move away from the multiverse this time around, and instead wants to focus on Spider-Man and Wolverine, a trio, if you will. Ryan reportedly already proposed a title for the fourth film as Deadpool and Webhead for the fourth movie, featuring Wolverine as well. So from what it sounds like, Ryan Reynolds wants this to be a Deadpool and Spider-Man movie, but Wolverine being there on the side. And that's an interesting take. You know, that would not necessarily make it a Deadpool and Wolverine 2, but technically yes, I guess you could say, but more or less of a trio movie, right? Having these three characters take on new foes. Very interesting, kind of taking a somewhat inspiration from the comics, but what's interesting about this further is that you have Tatiana Maslany trying to challenge this, labeling Ryan Reynolds as being very much sexist and a misogynist for really going through all of these hurdles to get rid of She-Hulk, to get rid of Tatiana from the fourth film. And I think what it boils down to is that she realizes that Marvel was her bread and butter. This basically was the only pathway to her career becoming a massive success on the big screen, and that's no longer happening. Kind of similar to what happened with Brie Larson, right? That was her bread and butter as well. She lost so many roles as Captain Marvel, so many different cameos were cut for various movies and TV shows, etc., etc. And here you have Ryan, the ultimate negotiator against the Disney bigwigs, if you will. Overall, I would like to hear what you all have to say about this below in the comments, and if you guys did enjoy the content for today, make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel, and I will catch you guys later.